that channel is already making like over 1,000 a month or whatever. The content is now doing like better than most of the jobs I was working before. Yeah, like every month for like past year, it's been like consistent, like at least a 1K upwards of like 2 to 3, you know? Like the year where I was quitting my full-time work, the main thesis of a day would be surviving the 9-hour shift to have enough energy to get onto recording, to then get onto editing.
This is my guy Croc. He's a fellow Winners Club member, and he went from working jobs he hated to now making a full-time living creating content on YouTube. We're just gonna chill and talk about his success, so sit back, maybe grab a cold drink, and enjoy. Okay, we're recording. So, this is my boy, Cool Kid Croc, fellow Winners Club member. First of all, I just want to say thank you for having yourself on. And could you just like describe to people what you do on YouTube?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on. It's pretty simple. I do gaming, you know, like nothing really complex. Most of my gameplay videos are like a playthrough or like let's play style. And then I chop out all the silent parts, you know? But yeah, I got one channel that has like 20,000 subs. That's been active for like going on like 5 or 6 years. Then I got a Croc Hammer with 2,000 subs that started like a couple months ago. Like both channels are like monetized right now, and I'm basically doing that like full time. Yeah, that's where I'm like at with YouTube stuff.
So you're making money full time on YouTube?
Yeah, like every month for like past year, it's been like consistent, like at least a 1K upwards of like 2 to 3, you know? And that's mostly through like ad revenue on the side, like paid placements and like high-end donations.
And that's kind of like where my first question wanted to take us on in this call is you talk about these like big wins, like, you know, making 1,000 a month on YouTube, getting ad placements. You recently just got an ad placement for a video that you're going to do. And my question is, when you joined Winners Club, what was the biggest win that you had after joining Winners Club?
The biggest win I had after joining was I launched the Croc Hammer channel. And I've been like familiar with like the money maxing content for like a few months at this point, maybe like half a year or so. But yeah, going from like your first like a 2-hour master class like guide, I followed that like to like a pretty close T on like planning and figuring out stuff. And when I had the Warhammer channel, it was at like 50 subs or something like from the first video, and it was doing all right. Yeah. And then going into like joining Winners Club, it started to like snowball right up. A lot of things help too, like in Winners Club, from like other people to bounce ideas off of, because I have like a few YouTube friends, but the amount of like diversity with the content creators that's like in this community, there's a lot. Like pulling from different niches and inspiration is like huge and really important. But it helps because this community is so like set on a front of like there's like gaming YouTubers in it, there's like fitness, there's, you know, health like YouTubers, like business, like almost every like genre. There's a lot of different people in it and like coming to it still. So it's been cool. Like it's really hard to get a gaming channel to get monetized that fast unless you really hit like a good niche or you got it like a powerful viral video. And the videos that I'm like making, they aren't like going like super viral, but in the sense of like they're getting like 10,000K. Like they're getting like 10,000 views, and then in return they're getting around like 10,000 watch hours of time on them. Yeah. So like,
oh, sorry, you go.
Oh no worries. Yeah. No, it's been a fast climb. Like the channel, like the first week, the videos had like maybe 1,000 hours on the first one. I was like, okay, it's going well. Bounce some like questions off in like a Winners Club and whatnot. But now the channel is like on a set path where like the last video I had was like edited fully by someone else. That channel is already making like over 1,000 a month or whatever.
From what I'm hearing, you started this new channel, you joined Winners Club, views started coming in, and you started making money to the point where you could like hire someone to edit your videos for you. And it's kind of like you're almost basically running your channel on autopilot almost, in a sense.
Yeah, like, because with gaming stuff especially, like, the thing I really need to do, or I really need to focus on, or like any channel does, is like just figuring out what your format is, what type of videos you make, and how you make them. Because if you get on a flow where, say for Warhammer videos, I usually record for 10 to 20 hours, like over a span of a couple or a few days. Now that I've made the first like 6 or 7 videos for that channel, the editor that I showed it to, he like got it right away. Like very straightforward to get into. And yeah, it's like trying to take out at least most of the work that I don't like 100% need to do. Like I 100% need to be on the game and recording and whatnot. Yeah. But once I have enough of videos like out like at this point, it's solid because people can just look at the channel if they're an editor and kind of get the grasp of it within like an hour.
For sure. And that must be a crazy feeling to like go from making YouTube videos and like doing the editing, etc. And like you were a successful YouTuber before you joined Winners Club, but to like, spending all this time editing content, etc., and then launching the second channel. And now it just must be a crazy feeling to just play the game essentially and just get views because of it. Like you're not doing anything else now.
Yeah, no, it's wild. Like the only plans I have to do for the game now are like what I actually want to do on the game. Like what type of content I want to pursue, what I find fun in the game, what I find challenging or like unique and stuff, and like how I can tell a good story from it and stuff. And like for the most part that like comes naturally, so it's like it's more fun for me to like think in that way too. Like how am I going to get a good story out of this playthrough? It really helps though now. Yeah, already having it like at the point where it only took like 2 months for that channel to get to being able to like have an editor. And then there's like a second editor that I have like on backup who's waiting for like a project.
Okay.
So it's cool. It's like the only thing like I really need to focus on for right now on that channel is like recording.
This is just a random question, kind of like out of the blue. But I feel like a lot of people can learn something from this or maybe get some like motivation. But what's the feeling of doing, and I'm assuming like you like what you do, you know what I mean? Because if you didn't, then there'd be no point. But what does it feel like to just like make videos you're passionate about and make money from it and pretty much like a full-time income almost at this point, and eventually it is going to be a full-time income for you? That must feel crazy.
Yeah, it's way different than like where I was at like years ago, definitely. Like I always had the mindset when I was working, any job I had, it was this is going to go back into my business or my content or etc. and stuff. Yeah, for the past year, it's been at the point where the content is now doing like better than most of the jobs I was working before. It's definitely like surreal compared to like when I first started YouTube, and like for the first like year to 3 straight, every month it was like a consistent like 100 to 300 bucks. Like 100 to 300 is like that's a good mark to hit like to start with too, because that gets you like your internet bill or like your next game for like a big video or something, or you just reinvest it into your content. Like it's a good like spot to start with. But once like it really is like once hitting like around like the 1,000 mark to like 2,000 and etc., you're like, okay, like I got my bills paid for it, I got all this other crap paid for, I reinvested the channel, I got equipment coming in, and it is it's way more interesting. And how do I say, I don't feel like there's too much of a cap. Like there's a niche market cap, or like with gaming, depending on what game I pick, you know. I could say end up making like, well, a certain amount depending on whatever game. Like Minecraft's bigger than Warhammer. At certain points, different games are bigger than other ones. But it's interesting because the scalability of it is there. Like when I look at my channel from like the year where I was quitting my full-time work and whatever, and like my normal jobs, like I think I made that year I made like 13 or I made like 3K from the like ad revenue.
Yeah.
Compared to the year after where it's like well over 10K, then there's like paid placements throughout it. There's like higher tier like donators, and people have like dropped like up to like $500 just because they want to see the content get better. Or
damn,
it's really like surreal, yeah, because you don't like get that from like other jobs and stuff. And yeah, it's definitely like there's a lot of businesses and stuff you could do, but if you're like super passionate about like content or telling stories and like that general stuff, if you can get to this point, then it feels great, even though like there's still like so much more to scale, you know. Like that's probably why like it's just like so open to growth.
No, I get that. And it's kind of funny because usually like I'll do these kind of client case study videos, and it'll be like a person with a business, like Mike, for example. I hopped on a call with Mike a few months back, and he talked about how he scaled his business. But you are like the perfect example of someone that has a passion in something, not just in business, but it can literally just be anything. It could be Warhammer videos. Like I didn't even know the game Warhammer existed until you hopped into Winners Club and you started talking to me, and we kind of like conversed, etc. But you're like the perfect example of someone that just has a passion and figured out a way to monetize that passion, which you can do in literally any niche. Even though AdSense might not be the best way to monetize, you're still living proof that you did it in arguably the hardest way possible. One thing that kind of stood out to me, and I kind of wanted to ask this question, was you said you quit your job at like a point where you were making money through YouTube. So like, could you kind of take us through like what your feelings were and like your thought process was when you were working that job before the videos blew up and started getting views and money, etc.
Yeah, it was like I started this new job at like a charity, and it was really good for like the first 6 months. Like I was getting used to it, enjoying it or whatever, enjoying the people and whatnot. And like I quickly kind of figured out, I was like, there is a cap to this job, or like I'm not really gonna get like to the spot that I want to be at, you know, in like in a set amount of years if I work this full time without like a backup idea. So like when I was working, it was like it was way different. Like every day was like, even at work, I was brainstorming stuff for the YouTube channel, or like the main thesis of a day would be surviving the 9-hour shift to have enough energy to get onto recording, to then get onto editing and whatnot, you know? And yeah, there's like a lot of nights where it was like, oh, I'm staying up until like 2 a.m. and I got to wake up at 6. And the next day, or like some weeks it would be like fried and stuff on that end. It's still like I'd get more stressed out if I wasn't working on it, you know? So once I got to the point where not only the YouTube channel was like making money, but I leveraged like the YouTube channel into getting me like a contract to work, like do some social media stuff for a business that was opening up like nearby. Like it really felt like surreal to like look at like my income for that month, and it was like 70% was from like YouTube and content creation stuff, and then like 30% was from like the full-time job. At that point I was like, well, if I just go full in on the content creation, I know I can do it. And that was like the big step where like instead of making like the videos that I've been making for years, whether they're like 10 minutes to an hour long, I now have these like insane long videos that are like 4 to 12 hours long that I can make within like a week or something if I just lock in on it, you know? It was like very like stressful while I was working, like trying to get stuff off the go, but once it was starting to like show that it was growing and snowballing, you know? Like there's a lot of weight like lifted off my shoulders, especially like once I got out of a job, like the final day or whatever, and then going on to realize like, okay, like YouTube's the only income I have right now. Let's do it. Let's go figure it out. Yeah, it's like it's interesting. It's hard to describe, but yeah, it's very like business like minded and stuff. You can't really like just wage it off like how much am I going to pay myself per hour. You got to wage it off like how much is the channel going to pay you after you get a set amount of views. Was
it scary to like make the jump from like a stable job to content creation? Was it a little bit like how intimidating at the start?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's what kept me from doing it for like time or whatever. Until I got to a point where I had like about like 3 months or so that I could like really like live comfortably of savings. So I was fine on that front. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, I can go for it. And I was lucky just within like a month or two, like stuff started to steamroll up, and it was already like matching the income that I had from like my normal full-time job previous, you know? So it worked out in my end like really well. But yeah, it was pretty like, maybe not like it definitely stressful, but yeah, if you take it serious and you're having fun with it, it's like you never work a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, like I get that 100%. When you do the shit that you like and you actually start making money from it, it's like the craziest feeling, and it's not work. It's just like it's what you do. And I have a question. If you could give someone advice, like there's probably people watching this video right now and they were in like your position back in the day where they're working a job and they want to grow on YouTube and they want to make money on YouTube. What would be like the number one advice you would give them if they're like not seeing any results and they're kind of like in that perpetual loop of just making content, not going anywhere? What kind of advice would you give them? I
would definitely center looking at your channel, especially if you're in like the gaming niche like me. The game you could be playing could just be oversaturated. And with gaming, it's hugely oversaturated compared to travel and other types of content where you need to like spend money or have a certain type of life situation to do it. Pretty much anyone can game. So what I would recommend is like taking a step back and looking at what's more unique and what's out there and what hasn't been covered that much. Like, because you'll see results like surprisingly, like if there's games that have like, you know, anywhere from like 100 to 1,000 players like active online all day, which isn't much, you know, like compared to tens of thousands. But those games might be like really needing content creators in it, or people watching that game could have like a very high like watch time ratio, you know, similar with like live streaming and stuff. What I would recommend though is just like locking in on trying to figure out like what kind of games are going to be good for telling stories. Like I've always tried to hit like as many games as possible, like around like simulation genres and other stuff. So I'm very well known for like a few games or a handful of games, but I'm also like known for like one-offs and different games that I've covered on that end. Definitely like experiment, you know. And the more games you cover too, the biggest thing is like that's where you're gonna end up getting like all your like actual business emails, you know, like the way these game devs, it seems like they usually send the stuff out is like they're going through YouTube, they're going to search up a game like, you know, like CSGO or Kenshi or a certain type of game, and then they're going to look at the content creators and, you know, go and email all of them. So like ever since I had like 1,000 subscribers, I've been getting like emails from different game devs, either game keys or like paid placements. If you can get free game keys like from game developers, Keymailer is a really good website for like gaming stuff. If you have a credible channel and you're like doing reviews or you're showing off games or just making videos on it, then you can at least like work out getting more of like a business like stuff like set up and a connection, because it helps a lot too. Like I've had opportunities where I get the game sent like a week prior, so I have time to record or whatever, and then the video does like really well on launch. It's really like shifting like how you're doing your content. Like whenever I've stuck with one game for like too long, I usually find I get dragged out of it and the audience gets dragged out, you know?
Yeah.
So especially if you've been doing something like for months on end or something, like months to years, like the same game or the same styles, like try something different. And also different like video styles too, you know? If your videos are too short, like just look at what's in the niche. Like ask yourself, are there any like videos in this type of style for this game, you know? Random example that I could think of is like the biggest like gaming videos that seem to be out are like the Civilization events. You'll get like 1,000 players and put them on like a server or something, you know?
Yeah, I've seen those before.
I try to get into a lot of those for Project Zomboid and other games like that. And whether I make a video out of it or not, a lot of people like end up watching the content or video or those events. If they go viral, they go really big, and that can help like lead you into like some really cool opportunities like gaming wise, as far as like cool communities or cool events to participate in and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Like,
So, oh, sorry. You're...
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, just wrapping up that like expanding like network with gaming is very difficult, at least if you're not doing like a multiplayer game. So I would definitely just suggest like trying to cover different grounds and different games and stuff until you figure out what you're really comfortable with and that you can like hit hard with, or that's like needed, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. And I feel like that advice that you just gave can be applied to like any niche. So when it comes to like any niche, gaming, self-improvement, like business, whoever watches this channel, would you say that the most important thing is to just not stay stagnant and try new things?
Yeah, no, keeping an open mind and stuff.
Yeah.
Bouncing ideas off others and stuff. Like that's what I like about Winners Club. It's like if I have an idea, I'm getting input from people from all different like sides of like content creation, you know?
Yeah, and the craziest part about Winners Club, and this is actually something I never really like intended for, is the feedback that other members give to people like you or like to any other member. It's like literally paragraphs that these people are writing, and it just gives you such a different perspective from like my advice or like someone else's advice. It's just crazy to see that. I got some questions here. So yeah, okay, this is a good one, and this is kind of like more on the Winners Club side of things. Is would you recommend Winners Club, and why, to someone that's struggling on YouTube?
No, 100%. Especially if you're already looking into stuff like this, like you're trying to make your YouTube channel better, you're trying to make your content better, and you're trying to get there. Like I started making videos 6 or 7 years ago, and if I knew about like a community like this like 6 or 7 years ago, I definitely would be like a lot farther ahead. Having this type of community or spot to just meet other people in and communicate, you know, and talk with other people, there's a lot that you can pick up, you know, like even if you're not posting yourself, somebody might post something about like their thumbnails or their video script or types of videos that they're making, and you might just like I just end up going on there and like reading comments, you know, Like the discussions are really interesting, and like if you're just like into that content creation stuff where you can talk about it for hours or like look at other people's content stuff and like analyze it with your own, it's gonna
Yeah.
be super valuable compared to just like being out in the ropes looking YouTube video to YouTube video, hoping you're not getting like your time wasted.
Yeah. No, 100%. And like, it's funny how school is set up for Winners Club because it's almost like it's like a Reddit, like a YouTube Reddit, but better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, another question I had is, how do you find like the group calls, the group coaching calls that we do?
I find them really good. Yeah, people that don't know you, there's like weekly calls in Winners Club, and then there's usually like around like a dozen or so people in it and whatnot, and it gives like everybody a good chance to, like ask different questions, talk back and forth, get feedback on different things, talk about plans, make plans and stuff. I think it's a super like valuable spot for people to have. It definitely helps when you're like not, how do I say, like doing it like alone. There's other people in Winners Club who are gonna, maybe they don't even have a YouTube channel yet. There's gonna be other people in Winners Club who have like maybe 100K subs. Like either way, everybody like from the start to the end, like in between, it's all like the community thing that like makes it super valuable. So like I enjoy popping in there and asking the odd question when I got really something like picking on my mind I want to know input on, especially in voice. But even just popping in to like see what other people are up to or what the discussion is, and you end up taking out like a lot of good stuff from it or a lot of good ideas.
No, for sure. And it's funny because like when someone asks a question, it actually helps like three other people in the group. And you weren't here for the last call, but like the last call, we literally just did like a title masterclass, and it helped everyone in there kind of like refine their titles and make them more interesting. Because I this is a little off topic, but one thing I like about your videos is all the titles and all the thumbnails, they create curiosity. And even your like 20-hour videos, they get thousands and thousands and thousands of views because you just understand like the psychology of the thumbnail and title. And that's what I'm trying to teach everyone else in Winners Club. So it's really sick to see that. This is actually a question more like directed to you. Where do you see your channel going in the next year?
Yeah, in the next year, I want to get like the new channel, Crockhammer. I want to get that one from like 2,000 subs to around 10K subs. If the subs start slowing down, I really just want the channel to stay where it's like at, if anything, bare minimum, because it's already doing really well. It's already getting like around 100K watch hours like a month. So the second channel is looking like really hot. With my main channel, I want to try to experiment more with some other types of games. I did like a lot of No Man's Sky content last year, and I think there's some other like sci-fi games I want to hit. But mainly for that, like I've got my editor now set up for my second channel, and then I got my main channel, which I'm going to be editing videos for and like still doing stuff for. So one of like the biggest goals I have is figuring out different types of content for my main channel that I plan, whether it's like a 4 long video series or like a long movie type video that's like hours long. Just like different types of formats that I could hand off to different editors and whatnot. Like I'm sure my Warhammer guy or like the other guy I have in my like editing Discord would grab any video for Cool Kid Croc. The main thing is just I want to really like get better at it. I want to make sure that when I'm handing these projects off to like other people, it's a good opportunity for me and them. Like we're both going to grow from it, and they have like a good chance to like, how do I say, if a video goes viral, then they get a bonus as well. I wanted to try to at least like by the end of the year have like whether it's like 3 to 5 people from like video editing, the thumbnails and stuff helping me out. Just that way I got like more time to focus on like the gaming aspect of it, and like recording. Those are like I try not to set like too many like money goals or like number goals, but really like I definitely want to try to get like more watch time accumulated on Cool Kid Croc this year as well, because it just hit like lifetime 1 million like watch hours.
Damn.
So I want to try to get like 1 million watch hours in like a year, whether that's between like Crockhammer and Cool Kid Croc combined or one channel getting that. Like that I think is like perplexing to me, or like that's like my big like dream goal. But other than that, it's all like small steps and like the simple stuff, like just streamlining the processes and like making it easy for myself and like other people to work with it.
No, for sure. And I definitely see you being like a big player in the gaming space. And it's going to be really cool to see like the progress from today to like next year. It's just insane like how
Yeah.
fast channels grow. Like even this channel, I started it pretty much last year and now it's at 20K subs. So man, like the sky's the limit for you, I feel like. But
No, yeah. It happens overnight. It feels like once you get like once so much time goes by, it just feels like it's been there for too long.
bro, yeah, and like I feel like you can understand this, and let me know if you like kind of feel this, but it's like YouTube, and let me know if this is the same way for you, but you keep uploading videos and you're like discouraged until one video pops off and everything just like clicks and you're like, okay, this is what we have to do.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster. Like you might have like 3 months where you're on the ball, when you might have a month where you slip off a little bit, and that's like normal. It's like so many factors to like throw in from like viewers to yourself. So like I find it's always like it's an unbelievable like feeling when you do get like that video that's like 1 out of 10, high views, high watch time, high average watch time. You know, a ton of comments, engagement.
It's addicting.
Yeah, no, it makes like the whole process worth it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But bro, I mean, this has been an amazing call. Just one question I have until like we kind of wrap things up, and I did touch on this before, but like for anyone that's watching this video, whether they be in the gaming niche, whether they have like a business YouTube channel just to like promote their service and to like scale their business, or someone in the freaking watercoloring painting niche, which I've worked with someone in the French watercoloring painting niche, and he's an awesome guy, and he made a ton of money doing that. Would you recommend Winners Club if they're struggling on YouTube, no matter what niche they're in?
No, definitely. I think especially if you need like either a bit of help or just like not even guidance, but a second opinion. You know, like I said, the community is so valuable. You really do like you not only get your money's worth, but then it's just like it's a good investment into like your channel and just like yourself in a way. I think you're going to be learning stuff about content creation, like thumbnails, design, storytelling. All these different things come into play because like it's a community dedicated around, you know, winning on YouTube. So like you're gonna get like a good like mix, like no matter what niche you're in, you know. I feel like as long as you're trying to make like content or you're trying to do that type of stuff, that's Winners Club is pretty much like at least the only community that I know of is like really worth the money and worth looking into, you know.
Yeah, I'm not even just saying this, but I feel like there's not really like a YouTube growth community out there. I haven't really seen one other than Winners Club, but if someone can correct me in the comments, that'd be kind of cool. Like I would want to see like what they're doing as well. But yeah, like I appreciate that, bro. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, it's difficult. Like I said, like YouTubers often talk, or like I have a few buddies that like do anime videos, or like one buddy that has like a Christian channel.
Okay.
And like you know, it's like you always have your own people. You're gonna meet your own people and stuff, but like just the general like community and aspect of like everybody's here for like the same purpose, or like everybody's here for a good purpose, you know, and everybody wants to be there. Yeah. You're gonna get like a lot of valuable information and back and forths if you hop in it.
No, for sure. And if there's like one last thing I can add, there's nothing like having a win and then putting it in the win section and everyone's like, let's go, fucking everyone's like hyping you up. It's like the dopamine is crazy. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. And I really appreciate you hopping on the call. And I'll put your links in the description below for people to like go follow you if they want. But yeah, it's been freaking sick, bro.
No, yeah, thank you for having me on. And like, yeah, everybody that's like watching this and doing content, you know, just if you like it and stick with it, like it's definitely gonna help. Joining Winners Club, that'll be like a big step if you're kind of lost on stuff. But either way, like the content's like top tier. You learn so much from it.
Yes, sir. And honestly, one last thing I'll say, and I promise like I'll hop off, is you just got to keep trying, and then like something will actually work. And that's where people kind of like end up giving up, is they try the same thing and then they wonder why like nothing popped off. But yeah, like that's pretty much all I have to say. And anyways, I appreciate the call, bro.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you soon. And yeah, I'll put links down in the description below for people to find you.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having me, dude.
No worries, bro. I'll see you later. So if you want me to help you with your YouTube channel, I would highly recommend checking out Winners Club. If you want to stop making videos that tank in views and finally want to do something on YouTube, I'd highly recommend checking us out. We do weekly group calls. There's tons of wins and testimonials on my website and in the school. And like I said, there's a sale going on right now. So if you want to check that out, check that out. And I can't wait to help you grow on YouTube. Peace.